Now moving towards our next session that will be focuses on tools of effective teaching and learning process. So it's a true say that the art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. So before proceeding our next session, I would like to introduce Dr. Remet Dias, HOD Diploma, Government College of Pharmacy, Karad, Maharashtra. Dr. R.J. Dias has graduated in pharmacy from Government College of Pharmacy, Karad in 1996, completed his M.Pharm in 2002 and PhD in 2008 from the same college. He has also completed management studies and postgraduate diploma in patent laws. He started his career as a medical representative in Hodges Marion Russell Limited at Kolhapur. After his 2 years innings there, he shifted to academics and is having 23 years of teaching experience. He worked for 4 years with MES College of Pharmacy, Chiprun. He then worked at Satara College of Pharmacy, Satara for 9 years and developed an institute from its inception. He has worked as a professor at Sinhagad Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Lonavala, before shifting to YSPM's Yashoda Technical Campus, Satara, as a campus director for 5 years. Presently, he is working as a head of department at Government College of Pharmacy, Karad. He has authored 4 books, published 1 patent, 23 national, international, and 51 national research papers. He has guided 44 MPharm, 1 PhD student, and his area of interest includes biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics, novel drug delivery systems, biostatistics, and DOE. He is a life member of various professional bodies. Dr. R.J. Dias has won APTI Best Teacher Principal of Diploma Pharmacy for year 2018 during APTI convention at Jaipur. He has delivered more than 100 expert lectures on various topics and trained more than 5,000 faculty on online teaching through various FDPs. He has worked as a member of Board of Studies in Pune, Solapur, Nanded, and Kolhapur universities. With this brief introduction, I would kindly request Dr. Emmett Dias, HOD, Diploma, Government College of Pharmacy, Karad, to deliver a talk on tools for effective teaching learning process. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for the elaborate discussion on the earlier topic by Vandana Patravale madam on research funding. And after the 2 sessions, this is the last session, which may be a taxing effort for the participants. So I would like to make it more lighter one and more interactive one. So thank you, madam, for your introduction of mine. And thank you, dear Dr. P.D. Chowdhury, sir, Principal of Modern College of Pharmacy, Pune, and Dr. Bhushan Pimple, sir, coordinator of this AICTE STTP, and all organizing team members and dear participants. So exactly now it is 1:15 and I have to complete it within 1 hour. So I will just move towards my presentation. So I will share my screen.
Yes, sir.
So let us start with this session on tools for effective teaching learning process. Due to pandemic, which has started for last 1 year, we have used so many online teaching tools that maybe whatever I am going to discuss, you might have used it. And therefore, I feel that let us make this session as an interactive one, so that whatever you know, you can share with me. But we have kept some learning outcomes out of this session, because after the completion of this session, the learners will be able to explain the need of modern pedagogical techniques. They will be able to classify various pedagogical techniques, apply them at various different learning settings, and enhance the learning outcomes by using suitable modern pedagogical tools. So keeping these learning outcomes in mind, let us move further and see what the pedagogy means. Already, pedagogy is the word which tells us it is the science and art of teaching. It is the method and practice of teaching. In short, what to teach is teaching, but how to teach it. Whatever the content is there with me, how I'm going to put it across my students, and how the learning outcomes can be improved, that comes under pedagogy. Interaction between the teacher, students, and learning environment, which also contains the content of learning. When this interaction takes place for achieving maximal learning goal, then we say it that effective pedagogy has been used. Dear participants, actually the andragogy is the most appropriate word for the higher education sector, because pedagogy is the word which is used for the science and art of teaching of the children. But we use synonymously this word as a pedagogy for the higher education too, but andragogy is the most appropriate word. Now, the traditional teaching which we embrace for so many years together, this traditional teaching, that is a one-way process where we deliver a lecture and the participants or the students are listening it. But this traditional teaching, is it sufficient for the students to have the learning outcomes in it? So before moving forward, just to make it more interactive one, more so that we can have some game-like structure into our session, I have just taken these two questions. Which teaching method do you use for teaching? Maybe during this pandemic time, before that. So which are those teaching methods you are using? And second question is, write the advantages and disadvantages of the method you are using to teach students. Any one advantage, one of the disadvantage, what you feel that you can, so that let us interact on this. So for this, I'm going to use the Mentimeter, and you are going to open another tab, okay, where you will be logging in into www.menti.com, and you're going to use code 40304866, so that these two questions can be answered by you, and let me all see what are your responses. So I request all the participants to use menti.com and use the code 40304866. I will just go to Mentimeter, which you can see here. The code is 40304866. Question number 1 is, which teaching method do you use for teaching? And what are the advantages, disadvantages of the method you use to teach students? Just a simple one word answer is okay for me. Okay, so that we can have the interactions, because it should not be one way talk. What I'm talking and you are just listening may be a total passive type of learning. And for that reason, I want you to go to menti.com and use the code 40304866. Yes, first participant has come. Okay, live via Zoom, live via Google Meet, Google Classroom, as a LMS, so that you can put your material, take their assignments, and use various pedagogical techniques there too. Okay, so yes, one response I have got. Let us go ahead. I want more and more participants, about 100 participants, at least 15-20 responses I should get. Okay, so that we can move further. Question number 2 is write advantage and disadvantage of the method you use. Okay, go to menti.com, www.menti.com, and use the code 40304866. Yes, blended learning, Zoom. Yes, now the participants are giving the responses. So many self-made videos, flipped classroom, blended learning, PowerPoint presentations. So nice of you. Come on, let us get involved. The one advantage is good. Whatever the method they are using, it is good for them. Okay, so 2 questions are there. Come on, you can give the answers. The responses should come. Excellent features. Interaction is a challenge. Good. Interaction is a challenge. And therefore, what we can say this, that even though we are on a common platform, the interaction is becoming difficult. And therefore, I took Mentimeter route so that let you be involved. Okay, but it becomes so problematic. Out of 100 participants, only 5 have already given the answers. So it becomes a challenge. That is a disadvantage of whatever we are using. Yes, come on, we will have to move ahead as fast as possible. Last 1 minute, I will be waiting, or otherwise we will proceed ahead. But this is what happens. The students, if they are not going to participate in the lecture, then as a teacher, when the pedagogy is there, because whatever content you are putting across to your students, is it sufficient for achieving that learning outcome? That is the question. Because the students' involvement into the process, if it is minimal, then the problem of getting the learning outcomes out of your lecture becomes lesser and lesser. Okay, anyways, 1 minute is over. We are getting the responses. Whatever you have added, I have gone through it, and let us take these responses ahead with us to our presentation. So I will escape from this and I will go towards my presentation. So we have seen that by using a Mentimeter, one of the student response system, we can make our session interactive one. Why? Because the students can get involved. But it is always there that few of the students who are really interested into it, they participate and others won't participate, and that creates a problem. Okay, but let us remember the quote given by W.B. Yeats, that education is not the filling of a pail. Whatever pail is there and you are going to just put the water, constant water, the content is given to the students. After filling of the pail, whatever the contents you are dropping, whatever water you are dropping, that goes like that only, without going into the minds of the students. And therefore, as a teacher, what he can do in education is he can light the fire into the hearts of the students so that they can learn something out of what you are teaching. So it is not the content, it is the motivation, it is the engagement done by you that is more important. Okay, so as far as the traditional teaching is concerned, I will just move it fast. We go for these type of things, that we give them the lectures, we ask them to read the books, the students read the see the pictures, maybe in the laboratories where we put some posters or online, and then they can even watch the videos, and we give the demonstrations. But all these methods which we use, the hearing, reading, seeing and hearing, gives us the passive type of learning. The students are not actively participating, and therefore we are not getting the results what we want as the teachers. Okay, and therefore we have to move towards modern pedagogy. The modern pedagogy where we are much more interested to make the students involved through group discussion, through the presentations which the students can do, through the role plays, through giving them the simulations or asking them to do the practicals, because they are learning by doing something. So learning by doing, learning by saying something, learning by writing something, because there the actual involvement of the student comes, and therefore it is called as active type of learning, and that is very important, and that comes through modern pedagogy. And therefore, just to give a lecture online is not going to be sufficient for achieving the learning goals. Whether we are providing something where the students are actively involved in doing some activity, then and then only that part of a learning can happen. Okay, so we have to see that in case of traditional teaching, whatever we do, because when we talk of teaching and learning, it is the change in knowledge, skills and attitude that should happen. Then we say that he has learned something, and that we judge what information has been retained by a student, and therefore we conduct some exams. So retention of information is a parameter by which we check whether there has been a change in his knowledge, skills and attitude or not. And therefore Edgar Dell came with the pyramid of learning, and this is a pyramid which tells you the method of which we use a lot is a lecturing method. The average retention rate is only 5%, only 5%. Therefore, we can see reading, audio, visual demonstration, which we do in a traditional teaching, it gives the passive type of learning, and therefore retention at the most is not more than 30%. But when the students are actively participating, whether through the discussion group, whether they are practicing by doing something or they are teaching their peers, the retention rate increases up to 90%. And therefore, we should see that how in every lecture, whether it is offline or online, how I am going to involve my students actively, then only the retention rate is going to be increased. Same way, you will find that when we say that he has learned something, that means learning outcomes have been achieved. If these learning outcomes have been achieved, Benjamin Bloom came with a Bloom's taxonomy, and you can see this. Whatever we teach, if only the students can remember it. It is learning outcomes will not be much more. It's a lower order thinking skill will be imbibed in the students. So how we can make them understand, apply it, analyze it, evaluate something and create something. When it goes towards the higher order, then only the learning outcomes can be improved. So that was put forward by Bloom's taxonomy, and therefore for every lecture we have to see how we can include some type of pedagogy where the students will be given something to create, something to evaluate, something to analyze, so that higher order thinking skills can be included in them. So both the learning pyramid and Bloom's taxonomy, when we merge it together, we will find that in case of remembering, understanding and applying, it is lower order thinking skills. If you go toward higher order thinking skills, automatically the retention rate is going to increase, and even this, the students will be able to perform something, create something by having those higher order thinking skills in them. Therefore, we have to go towards modern pedagogy. Not only that, the learners' styles are different. The few students out of 60 may be visually active. Therefore, they will be learning more out of videos, graphs and pictures. Few may be auditory in nature. They will be much more learning through group discussions and podcasts. And few will be through doing some activity, walking meetings, hand-on activity. They will run something. Therefore, that should also be kept in mind. Okay, not only that, we have the student diversity. There may be the slow learners and fast learners. That also we have to keep in mind. And not only that, if I have to engage the students for the 60 minutes, they are going to lose the focus. And if they are going to lose the focus, I am going to motivate them to learn. Whether can I, after 15 minutes, have some activity in which the students can be made participating into that activity, that will be a motivation for them to learn. So that is very important, how we are going to come up with engagement strategies. Therefore, there is the need of modern pedagogy. You have to see that how you can use these techniques of group discussion, collaborative learning, peer learning, video clips. No, because if somebody is visual, video clips will solve the purpose. Podcast for auditory, but activities are required for kinesthetic. If there are some slow learners, how we are going to keep them the material on the LMS so that they can learn through self-paced? Or there can be a group where the cooperative learning can happen, or we can ask the questions in between, take some activity so that the engagement will improve. So this is what I wanted to tell you, that there is the need of modern pedagogy. And there is the difference between traditional to modern. Whatever, we are teacher centered because we are focused on our syllabus. Instead of that, we have to see how the student centered pedagogy can be used. It's not the transfer of knowledge. It should be discovery for the students. You have to make it active learning. It should not be competitive, but cooperative. All the students should come together in a group to learn something. So instead of focusing only on input, we have to see how we can focus on outcomes. Instead of set lecture times, we can go for variable time of learning. So this is what are the differences between traditional and modern. And I know that you people are focusing on modern pedagogy nowadays. Okay, so there are so many different pedagogical techniques broadly classified as behavioral. When you want to make some change in behavior of the students, behavioral pedagogy is used. Cognitive, which is widely used because we are interested in processing and transmitting of the information. But when you want that students should learn through self-directed activities, it is a constructivist pedagogical technique. Activity based, when we frame some activities. Experiential, we take the students for visiting the industry, or they experience what exactly happens into industry or maybe in a medical shop or somewhere. It's the experiential type of learning. You want to improve the interpersonal relationship, you have to give some group activity where the socially situated learning will happen. So with this, let us see how we can go ahead with using some pedagogical techniques. Now the content which you have, no, you want to teach a chapter and you have created the content, how good content you, sometimes you have to see how this content can be delivered effectively to the students by using a suitable pedagogy. And if a teacher is going to use both content and pedagogy, we term it as a pedagogical content knowledge, and that knowledge we should have. So you can see this, all the active learning best pedagogical techniques come under this. In that, what we have: collaborative type of learning, cooperative learning. So these are the strategies which you should use in everyday's lecture. Maybe 45 minutes lecture or half an hour lecture you are taking, and then whatever concept has been taught, how that can be converted into a topic for collaborative learning or cooperative learning, or can we bring some group discussion, or can we give some case study based on that, or inquiry based or project based or problem based learning. So these are all the tools for content pedagogical PCK, I can say, techniques, where you can utilize this into your lectures so that the students' learning outcomes can be improved. In a 1 hour lecture, it may not be possible for us to go to each and every technique into details, that what is collaborative learning, how we can search a topic on our content so that we can collaboratively assign something to the group so that this involvement of the students will take place. But let us see this various techniques which are there, which can be included into your contents so that you can ensure the participation of your students in the teaching learning process. So it is onus on us not only to deliver the content, but what pedagogy I am going to use so that the student can understand that concept well, and therefore their outcome will be well. Therefore, the first technique, that is a PCK, that the content is also there and pedagogy is also there. So we have to see how we are going to use this. Now you have a content, the content is there with you as a notes, or you have a book which the content is there, but how this content can be effectively delivered or converted into the videos or the animations by using technology, then the strategy which you use is a technological content knowledge. So whatever content is there and that content is changed due to technology, suitable use of technology, we term this as a pedagogical techniques which are called as technological content knowledge. Technology we are using. Maybe we are using some presentations, videos, animations, Google Slides, sheets, whatever, blogging, podcasting, all this, because we are using technology to convert our content so that the students can better understand. If a student can write something, write a blog or write some few sentences regarding what content has been delivered, that type of blog can make few students learn it forever. If you produce a simple podcast and put it on your group, that podcast, after hearing few of the students, will be very much easier for them to learn from it. So how you're going to use this technology for effective delivery of the content and bringing the learning outcomes to a higher level. Okay, so animations, videos will come into this. Now, you can even use technology. It is not only for the content, but there is a pedagogy. There is no content as such. Content has already been delivered, or it has not at all delivered. Like I conducted the Mentimeter. It was a student response system by which I asked you a few questions because I want to know that what you are using right now. Same way, you can involve your students into the question answer sessions by using a technology. So when we use technology and a suitable pedagogy, then it is a technological pedagogy knowledge. You can see all the student response systems, the games which you can produce. So on the specific topic, the students who are discussing in a forum regarding the content which already has been delivered. So these things come under technological pedagogy knowledge. So are we going to use this? Now, I know that I have to cover one of the chapter in the syllabus, and I know what content is to be delivered, and I'm going to produce the videos, the animations, or I'm going to create the content by using a multimedia. So I am having the content knowledge. I am going to use the technology either to deliver the content or to create the content effective. Then I have that technological knowledge also, how to use it. And when I know the suitable pedagogy, then I can even use this pedagogical techniques of collaborative, cooperative, or any of the student response system. If all these three things I am going to use into my lecture, then you go into this area, which is very, very important, called as a TPAC. And if you are having this TPAC with you, you are using a technology, you are using a suitable pedagogy, and you are even delivering this content, all this knowledge is there with you as a teacher, then this is called as TPAC. And I tell you that if you use a TPAC in every of your lecture or session, then I feel the learning outcomes will be maximal by the students. Okay, so not only through a lecture, but through a LMS, you can use it. If you create the LMS where you are putting your contents, you are putting some questions, maybe you're putting some discussions on that LMS. So this is a pedagogy content and even the technology I am using. So if that TPAC, the outcomes will be much more higher. This is what is the gist of today's session. Use technology, use content, use suitable pedagogy, and go for the TPAC so that you can improve the teaching learning process. We can make it more and more effective. Okay, now just we have seen PCK, that's a collaborative learning, cooperative learning. I will just run through the slides so that only I'm not going to show the videos regarding this or any of the things. Only thing is cooperative learning, what exactly we are doing. We are dividing our students in terms of the groups, and in the small teams, if I am going to give some learning activity, so if I have covered some concept today, and based on that, I have created a learning activity and given to a smaller groups, the group together can work on it. That is a cooperation, so cooperative learning. The one, and in the group, the student should be, one student should be a fast learner, or we say him as an intelligent one. And the slow learners who are not poor, who are poor in understanding something, let us be part of that group. So group should be a varied one. Then what happens is an intelligent person makes others to understand, or they divide the task between all the members of a group and they come on and do the activity together. That makes even the poor student to achieve higher grades. Therefore we have to, because this is a teamwork, therefore we have to use how cooperative learning during. It is possible even through online teaching. But so cooperative learning, we have so many strategies which we are not going to discuss today, but just to mention, because you can Google it and find it out. Jigsaw, group investigation, round robin. There's a STAD, means students team achievement division, because which group will achieve at the end the highest grades will be given some grades, or maybe given some trophy or something like that. So that type of thing is given. So every group strive to do better. Think, pair, share, team, pair, solo. These are the various techniques of cooperative learning, which as a pedagogical technique, you should utilize into your classrooms or even online. So if I taught some concept or some chapter today, I should, as a teacher, give some activity to the students in a group so that their involvement on that will take place, or otherwise just it will be a passive. I am making you understand. The students, after starting the lecture, they just run away. You don't know, because you are just delivering a lecture. How many are attentive? It's a big question mark. Okay. So likewise, so we have taken this in-out circle. In-out circle means you can see here 2 circles are there. Okay, and we ask them that let us rotate the outer circle maybe clockwise and inner circle anti-clockwise. They are getting rotated, and because of that, what is happening at a given time, we say stop now, and those who are facing each other, they can discuss on a topic or on a point which a teacher gives to them. Come on, you two discuss on that. So when these 2 people are discussing, one may be knowing something, other is not knowing, she was not attentive, then she can make her understand. That type of strategy we have to use, because while delivering a lecture, it is been found after 10 minutes, the students are not attentive. Why we won't use this type of strategy? If both are not knowing, they can ask others. So in-out circle, peer discussion, STAD type of strategy, because you can see this, there are so many groups. So the first group is standing over here, other groups are asking the questions, and if they can earn the points, then you will find that they will all the groups will get some. So this is called as a STAD strategy. So these type of strategies we need to use. So these are the few glimpses of cooperative learning. Same way, the collaborative learning. When we say collaborative learning, means what? Same like that. Many times synonymously these are used, but those are different. In both the cases, the groups are formed. But collaborative learning, we are giving a task, and it is the teacher guided work. Teacher guides, and others are collaborative. Okay. So there is the difference between these two. The strategies used are stump your partner, catch up, round table, write, pair, share, think, pair, share, or fish bowl debate. Okay. And therefore, you can even choose any of your strategy. Today, maybe after lecture or after 30 minutes of this one, stump your partner. This is what a strategy I am going to use in my classroom, that you should know beforehand. And come on, let the partner ask that question, some question on what has been taught to the student, to his or her partner. And if he is unable to give the answer, he has rightly stumped him out. Okay, so that type of strategies are there. These strategies needs to be utilized by you, or otherwise a passive type of teaching learning process is not going to help us. So these are some photographs where the collaborative type of learning has been taken place. Why not? Let the student discuss today on a given topic. Teacher encourage the student to discuss. So in a group discussion is happening. Yes, guided by the teacher. This will bring innovative information from group members. This will make students to not only to participate, but how to work in a team. how to discuss in front of others, and this will surely help the students to bring those techniques into them. How to speak up, who will become a leader into this, how to sum up, and these are required when they go into the industry for the jobs. And therefore, not only this participation, the outcome is going to increase, but even we are training the students for getting the employments, for facing the interviews. Same way, the inquiry based learning, a teacher gives a question after orientation, okay, and then they discuss on the question, and then they come up with a solution and present the solution. Right now I'm not going to show the videos for this because we will be falling short of the time, okay, therefore I will not show, but you just understand that you have to frame a question like this so that the student will start searching. Let them go to the library, let them search net, and let them come up with a solution, discuss between them, between the group, and let them present the solution. Let all groups present this solution into a classroom. Inquiry based learning, project based learning, we already have started to give the projects at the graduate and postgraduate levels, but are the students taking these projects sincerely? Therefore, we have to see how the project should be a real life problem. Therefore, the onus lies on the teacher to issue a real life problem as a project and let the students solve that in a project based learning. So if they could do a project sincerely, the learning that has taken place on that subject will be enormous. Then comes the problem based learning. Let me tell you, in the Western world and even in the most of the Asian countries, and you will find that in a medical education, near about 40% of the 40 to 60% of the syllabus has been converted into problem based learning. They give one scenario, they form the groups, give the scenario to a group, and then the students themselves do the studies and propose the solutions, and they present the solutions. So that problem based solution learning is very widely used in medical colleges. It is because they have been sure that whatever learning happens, when the students are facing that problem themselves, then, because here the facilitator, teacher is a facilitator, that he finds whether the group is working on properly or not. But the syllabus has been changed to problem based learning, and therefore we have to see how our syllabus, I'm not saying every lecture should have this, but some type of strategy. So maybe once in a month or once to a one subject, can't we use a problem based learning so that the students' involvement can be guaranteed? So this is what all we have seen, various types of pedagogical techniques that can be utilized along with your content. Then we can see how technology can be used. And because of pandemic, you have already used so many technology based pedagogical techniques. So podcasting, blogging, creating animations, videos, video editing tools, CMS, having your own website, student response systems like that of Mentimeter and Plickers, then gamification, no, like that of Kahoot you might be using. And so these are all technological based learning systems. You can even have the online forums. If you're using a Gnomio Moodle, discussion forum is there, online forums are there. So those forums you can use. Okay. Not only that, you can set your learning management system, maybe Gnomio Moodle, Google Classroom, so many others, Edmodo. There are so many, Open edX. Okay. So we have all those learning management systems, and we are using these learning management systems, and we have become well acquainted with of these learning management systems. Because of pandemic, we are using it. But even without pandemic, if we can use LMS, whatever we teach in the classroom. Apart from that, my video is there on the LMS. And after watching that video, the students are solving some quizzes. They are discussing on the topic in the discussion forum. And then we are taking the exams on that specific chapter. This will, you're using various different pedagogical techniques so that student will understand it better. Their involvement will be better. Okay. So even blended learning, like what happens usually, no, the classrooms are nowadays flipped classroom technique it is called as. So what we teach in a classroom, can I create a video of that and I can give it before? So student can watch your video when they are at the home. Let us not give homeworks at home. Let them watch the video at home, and when they come to the class, let them discuss on what they have seen in the video. Let them create something. Let them participate in the activity so that they can understand it better. If something has not been understood, then once again they can see the video and complete that activity. That type of flipped classroom techniques have been utilized for last 5 years in the IITs. So why not? Why not? Even if this one, let us create the videos, let them utilize the time in the classroom in discussing or creating something in the activity, so that we as a teachers, we can see that we will come to know whether this particular student has understood something or not, whether he is able to complete that activity or not. And peers will help us, help them. Teachers will help them. And because of that, learning outcome will be improved. Okay, so think, pair, share. That is the activity which is taken into the flipped classroom, because this is the in-class activity, TPS. Out of class, we are giving the videos for them to watch. Okay, so this is what regarding so many techniques that we have seen. Now I will be going through the last part of my session, that is few of the tools. Already you have utilized the tools. We have discussed so many times on the tools. Okay, but just as a part, if somebody has missed it out, want to know something more regarding the tools, I'm just going through the various tools. Okay, so we can broadly classify the tools which can be used, okay, for online teaching, learning, or creating something. So tools for content creation is the first, then tools for collaboration, then we have the tools for student participation, and fourth one is the tools for assessment. So these are the four broad classification I can say. So tools for content creation that we can see here. So many times when we are creating some content, we go for multimedia. Why? Because multimedia gives you different forms of content, some text, audio, images, animations, and videos into a single platform. So that multimedia, and the students enjoy multimedia. Only a plain write-up may not be good for the student. They will enjoy some videos, some animations. So which tools can be used to create this multimedia, that we are going to see. So multimedia tools for enriching content, we should have some images, charts, graphs that can be put to make our content very effective. And for that, you can create this. Okay, so these are, I'm not going to go for each and every of this, but let me tell you, snipping tool, which is there available into your PC, that can be used to copy something, to create a snip. Something is going on, I want this screen to be captured. Snipping tool is a right answer. Or you can use some awesome screenshot. If you want to create some diagrams, io.draw is a app which can be downloaded by you, and you can create so many of the diagrams which can be used by you for maybe the flow charts, maybe some diagrams which you want to give it to your student as a tool. Lucid charts, You can create various charts by using Lucidchart. You can use mind maps. No, eDrawSoft. No, even IO.draw is having the mind maps. Okay, so these are the various tools which are present. Right now, it is not a time to discuss on all these tools. So just I will tell you a snipping tool. Okay, maybe in your PC, if you can just give snipping tool, this will come. So either you can use a snipping tool or it has been upgraded, snip and sketch. So you can even use snip and sketch. So if you want a Neve, okay, so Neve, I want to just take this one, whole, this one is available as a snip. So you can use this. Not only this, you can even use this, no, like ballpoint pen, and want to write something on this, you can write it. Or you can use a pencil, you can use a marker, highlighter, that I want to highlight this part. So this can be highlighted like this. So many things are there inside your PC which you can use as a tool and use into your presentations or to create the videos. So snip and sketch or snipping tool, which is present in every of the PC. Okay. So just find it out from your PC, your computers, and you can use it. Not only this, you can even use io.draw. No, io.draw. This is also available. Okay. Just you may need to download it. It's a free of cost. You can see so many, no, any of a tool or a shape you can use. You can go for the flow chart, which is shown over here. You can go to advanced. So many things can be done by using this io.draw. Okay. You need to go and download it and see everything can be done. You can change the styles, you can change the text, you can use how much font, you can use its shadow, or so many things can be done on this. Okay, so you can use this. So this is what I wanted to tell regarding multimedia tools for enriching your content. Not only this, when you want to create some infographic, some type of a poster, no, right now I want to create one poster regarding my FDP. I can go into PictoChart because this is a free tool. You can create a use this one, go to this website, create your own infographic, because whatever is there, use any of the already present this one and just edit it into it. For the images, for the photos, but I would recommend Shutterstock, which is having the images which you can download. There are even free videos. So Shutterstock, Pixabay, Unsplash, you can download the images which are required, and these are free of cost. Okay, if you directly do the Google search, you will get the images, but copyright issues might come. But if you can use this, because already when you use the image, the credit comes on that image. It is from Shutterstock. We are using it for our education purpose, so you can use it. Okay, so you can enrich your content, you can create your infographic, some type of posters. Okay, so PictoChart, Shutterstock, I would recommend. When you want to do your amazing presentations, so you can go for the PowerPoint. If somebody is having 2019, 2013, 2010, amazing PowerPoint slides can be done, where the animations can also be done into it. But even you can try for Google Slides. Google Slides are the dynamic one. Okay, sometimes which we use Microsoft Office. You can even try WPS Office, same, it is also free. Other things you can do on this. So there are even PictoChart, you can create the presentation by using PictoChart. So Prezi is also a very nice, where the presentations can be done, but you can't download this presentation. So when you want to present it, there should be active internet, then only you can use the presentation given by Prezi, or otherwise you have to purchase, subscribe for the Prezi. Okay, so these are few tools for creating the presentations. For animations, I will suggest you to go for in your own PC, MS PowerPoint. After 10, 19 is having wonderful type of animations that can be done. MS 2019. If you have, you can use it. You have Animaker, total free software. Animoto, Animaker, Render Forest. These are the one which you can even Pencil 2D, Pencil 3D animation are this one free of cost. You have Powtoon, few something like maybe of 3 minutes. You can have free cartoon you can create in case of Render Forest also. Okay, so you can utilize these tools for animations. Then for video creation, Microsoft PowerPoint About 10 is having the facility of recording your screen, recording of the videos. Screencast-O-Matic, very free, but only 15 minutes video you can create and it will have a mark of Screencast-O-Matic on it. Okay, but OBS Studio, you can download absolutely free. You may need to learn some features of it, but once you learn it, OBS Studio is a wonderful video creation software like that of Cam Studio or Lumen 5, no, Cam Studio. So these many are sufficient. So learn OBS Studio, download it, and you can use it. Go for Cam Studio, it is also good. So these are the few softwares which are free for video creation. Then the same, the video which has been created, that video needs to be edited because it is a heavy one which has been created. So it is a shortcut. No, it is a shortcut, which is very nice software which I'm using, or you can use OpenShot. This is also free, but this needs to be downloaded. Once downloaded, you can use them. Okay, but if you want to edit your voice in it, this one is there, or noise reduction needs to be done. Audacity is good. Sometimes it happens that video is there, but you want to boost the voice because voice has not well captured. You can do it by using Audacity. Or sometimes if you feel, because Audacity is also a very free software which can be downloaded and it can be used. Whatever video is edited in shortcut can be taken to the Audacity, and for there you can edit that noise. You can boost up your audio, and then once again you can bring it back into your video. So that is a wonderful thing, can be done by Audacity. And whatever video you have done which is edited one, Audacity has done some wonders in audio also, that needs to be once again compressed if you want to post it on your YouTube channel. So for that you can use the tools like that of maybe some tools like that of Format Factory or compressing softwares are there. So that this VSDC video editor can even compress the things. Okay, so based on that you have to go for. Okay, then while doing a podcasting, Buzzsprout, Podomatic, Podbean, these are the free podcast hosting softwares, because Audacity you can create a audio file by using Audacity, very nice video audio file, but you have to host it on something so that the students can see it. So podcast hosting softwares are Buzzsprout, Podomatic, and Podbean. Okay, and then if you go ahead, if you want to create your own blog, EduBlogs, these are the blogs where the free blogging can be done, and it is only for the educational material. So EduBlogs is a good blog where you can log in and you can create your own blog, or Blogger is there, Tumblr is there, even WordPress, you can create your own WordPress website, there you can have a blog. So these are the blogging sites. Then if you want to create your own site, a very easy one is a Google site, because you can customize as it's a very, very simple one to create a site. But WordPress is also equally good. Okay, customization is also good here in WordPress. So Google site and WordPress, these two sites, if you want your own site as a teacher, which the students can see, where you can keep your material, then you can go for your websites, these Google sites and WordPress. These are the web addresses which you can take and you can use them. And as a teacher, now this is an arena where we should have our own learning management system. So LMS is very free, is a Gnomio Moodle. How to create, I'm not going to tell it right now, but I'm just giving you the Gnomio. You can go for the Google Classroom. You might have created, you might have used also, but Edmodo, Google Classroom, Gnomio, Moodle, these are the three LMS. Depending upon your this one, maybe Gnomio Moodle requires somewhat training, which but it is a fantastic software where you can create your LMS, and so many features are available in Gnomio Moodle as compared, but very easy to use a Google Classroom. Edmodo also is very easy to use, but customization is not as compared to Gnomio Moodle. But these three, you can just check it out. Whichever is suitable for you, you can use, and you can create your own learning management system. Okay. Then for collaborative learning, when you are going to give the work in collaboration to your students online also, you can create a group where you can share the link of Google Drive where they can come together and put their material in a group. Whatever they have created, they can put it in Google Drive, which as a teacher and a group members can see. Then there is a Padlet. 3 Padlets are free. So as a teacher, you can create a Padlet and let the students put all the material which has been given to them on a Padlet. So on a Padlet wall, all the students can see what work has been done by their peers, and they all can read it. So such a wonderful Padlet wall is there. So it's only for the creative and interactive and collaborative work. Only 3 Padlets are there. You can rub that Padlet and the same wall can be utilized by other batch. So no need of any paid version. That is a wall where the students can come, because if you share the link of your Padlet wall, students can come and write something on it, put whatever material they have produced. Okay. So for collaborative work, I would suggest Google Drive, Padlet, or wikis for that matter to use. Okay. Then tools for assessment you have used. Now Mentimeter I have used for the interaction. You can use it for the quiz also. For this one, so Mentimeter is there, Socrative is there, Kahoot, Google Forms. So these are much used by you people during the pandemic. So these are the tools which are free. So do use this. So whenever some chapter is being covered, what I feel is there should be not only the content delivery to the students, but apart from content delivery, you have to use a pedagogy and technology along with it, so that the students' participation is ensured. So for that reason, once your lecture is going on, have some discussion by using some Mentimeter tool or by the online discussion forum. Then let them create something and put them on some collaborative tool, or you can test at the end of your lecture by using some of the assessment tool. It's only for a formative checking whether the students have understood or not. Okay, so if those type of tools are used in every day's lecture online also, then I can say the student participation will improve. We can make our presentation more effective, and the teaching learning process will have the meaning, rightful meaning and effective way of teaching learning process, because we are going from the conventional to modern pedagogy. Okay, so at the end, because I think it's last 1 minute is there, I will ask whether we can go for playing one game on Kahoot. I will ask simple 5 questions on what we have covered till now, or otherwise we will stop over here. So let me see if somebody of you are interested in going 2A Kahoot to play something. Okay, so I think you can just.
We'll continue, sir.
Yeah, shall we go for this game?
Yes,
Only
yes,
5
yes.
questions?
Yes,
Or
sir.
shall we stop?
No, no,
Yeah?
sir. Continue, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is what the game which we will be playing now. Just 5 questions. Let us see from your group who is going to be a topper of this session. Okay. So game pin, you have to log in to www.kahoot.it, www.kahoot, that is Kahoot, kahoot.it, and then you have to enter the pin 2044631. Okay, so if you enter this, then we will start the game of just 5 questions which you are knowing, which I have covered into this session. Okay, so yes, Tulsi has joined this game, Swapnali has joined. Let us wait for another 1 or 2 minutes so that let the participant join, and then we will start our game. So Amol, Rutuja has joined to this game. Whatever we have covered into our session, I'm going to ask only 5 questions, and you will be playing this game to be the winner of today's session. Join at www.kahoot.it. Use the game pin 2044631. Participants have already joined. I want few more. At least let us have 10 people. Then we will start it. Okay. See, the questions will be having only 20 seconds. Within that 20 seconds, you have to click for your answer. Okay. So 9 participants are there. Let me wait for the 10th one and we will start it. So come on, join the game. Yes, Swati has joined. So Swati, Sharad, Professor Rai, Hemal, Kavita, Tejasri, Amol, Rutuja, Swapnali, Tulsi, and Swati, we welcome you in this game of Kahoot. So I'm starting the game on modern pedagogy. So the first question you can see on your screen. Andragogy is the science and art of dash. Teaching to children, then triangle. Diamond is teaching to adults. Circle is teaching students preparedness. And square is for adult education. Only 8 seconds are remaining. Give your answer. Nobody has answered it. Come on, do it fast. Only 3 seconds are remaining. Whatever the answer you have to give it. Okay, only 20 seconds are given. Therefore, you have to see that how you can give the answer as fast as possible. 2 people out of 5 have given the answer. Andragogy is the science and art of teaching to adults, while pedagogy is the science and art of teaching to children. Okay, that maybe in the second slide I had made it very clear to you. Okay, good. So let's see who are those 2. It's a Tulsi and Tejasri, but Tulsi has got 654 points because she has answered in a lesser duration of time. Therefore, she has become a leader after first question. Tejasri has number 2 position. All the participants will have equal chance of winning from here. So come on, be attentive. I'm going for the next question. It's a true or false. Pyramid of learning was developed by Edgar Dell. True is a diamond, triangle is false. Pyramid of learning was developed by Edgar Dell. True or false? Come on, only 10 seconds are remaining. 10 answers we have got. That's all. All 11 people have given. Yes, it is Edgar Dell because he has come up with a pyramid of learning, and therefore it's a true. And Bloom's taxonomy is it's a Bloom's taxonomy, came by Bloom. So Edgar Dell is a true. 9 have this one. Let's see who is the topper now. So it's a Swapnali has come at the top with 869 points. Pankaj at second point with a second number at 869 points. So it's a tie-up. Okay, Sharad, Hemal, and Professor Rai. So come on, keep it up. Now I'm going for the next. What pedagogy you will use for auditory learners? If your learner is auditory in nature, if it's a blogging, click star, this one triangle, diamond for pictorial, circle for writing, and square for podcasting. Only 5 seconds are remaining. Come on, click your answer. Okay, 12 people have given the answer and only 3 people have given a right answer. My dear colleagues, see, whenever the auditory learner is there, it's a podcasting because he is very much learning through the sound. He can listen it properly. So blog is for written material. So by reading, by writing, whatever reading of the blog will not solve the purpose. Pictorial because he's not a visual. So writing, no. So it's a podcasting is the right answer. Let us see who is at the top. It's a Pankaj with a 1403 points is at top. Tejasri at number 2. Shivani as number 3. Come on. Only 2 questions are remaining. Let us go ahead. Blended learning is the part of dash technique. TPK is the triangle, TCK is a diamond, TPAC is circle, and PCK is a square. Which one is that? Come on. Only 8 seconds are remaining. Do it fast. Do it fast. Okay. So we have this. 3 people have given the right answer. 2 people have given the right answer. That is TPAC. So blended learning do contain all these things. Okay. So we have done it with the topper Pankaj, be the topper. All the participants have the equal chance. Professor Rai, Tejasvi can also come to the top. Come on. 5th question. Cooperative learning is the type of dash pedagogy. TCK, PCK, TPAC or TPK. Cooperative learning. Only 2 seconds remaining. Wow. 4 people have given the right answer. That is PCK, pedagogical content knowledge. Okay. That's all. Let's see who is the topper now. So modern pedagogy podium, the 3rd number is of Pankaj. So Pankaj has dropped down to 3rd number. Shivani has climbed to number 2. And who is the topper? So topper is the Tejasri. So congratulations Tejasri, Shivani and Pankaj. Rutuja at number 4 and 5th one is Professor Rai. So this is what our today's game is. And so congratulations to all of you for listening the presentation and being the part of this session. So thank you very much. So that's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. As said, sir has made a last session very interactive. And I remember one quote on that. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. So now this
Very
session,
rightly said.
This session is open for question and answer now. Yes, anybody, any participant want to ask, you can type in chat box or just unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for such a motivational talk. I sum up some points from this session, which will be focuses on pedagogical techniques as behavioral, cognitive, constructive, active-based, experimental, also including modern pedagogical techniques such as collaborative, cooperative learning, case-based studies, etc., which will help in improve the teaching and learning method for involvement of students so that they understand the topic. Now I kindly request Dr. Ajay Dayal sir to accept virtual bouquet as on the behalf of convener Dr. P.D. Chaudhary, Principal, Progressive Education Societies, Modern College of Pharmacy, Nigdi, and Coordinator Dr. Bhushan Pimpe, Progressive Education Societies, Modern College of Pharmacy, Nigdi, as a token of gratitude. I also request,
Thank you,
sir, I
madam,
also
for
request,
the felicitation.
yes, sir. I also request to please accept a virtual certificate as well as a token of appreciation. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, dear participant. Thank you, Dr. P.D. Chaudhary, sir, Bhushan Pimple, sir, madam, and all organizing team and participants for providing me an opportunity to interact with the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I take the leave from.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.